tell you. It's not the time. You said only after... Everyone, someone would like to speak with you all.
Okay, so I guess we should get it going. Yeah. We can't really do the podcast until the curtain's open, so we need to open the curtain to get the open the curtain. Hello? Oh, okay, the curtain is open. Can we stop the music, please? Thank you. Welcome everyone to the Pig 311 podcast. The Pig 311 podcast hosted by Pig 311. Pig 311, the sole survivor of Bikini Atoll. Bikini Atoll, the site of the Baker event, which created this place. I'm not the host. I'm merely just I guess an associate is another word for it. So, today we have a very special Pig 311 podcast. This will be our last episode before we go on hiatus. We will be going on vacation. It is quite nice. And where will you be going, Pig 311? Well, that's a very nice place to chill, indeed. Chilling on the beach with your good friend Weil. That's quite a nice place to be. Well, let's not dilly-dally anymore, and let's welcome our first guest. Our first guest has a very special recipe for us to learn. Let's welcome the chef with a tart on his head. Oh. Please, sit right this way. Welcome to the Pig 311 podcast. So, we all know the story about how you went to the observatory one day, and you were struck in the face with the sunshine, which made a giant flower imprint on your face. And from that, a tart grew out of your head, and this is how you became who you are. The big questions about that. Huh. Very good question. Oh, please do not touch the pig. If you could remain in your seat and not make any sudden movements, it will alarm the pig. Thank you. The bleacher works too. Okay. For our listeners at home, Pig 311 is very sensitive about being touched today because, well, he is sad. Or, I'm sorry. Pig 311 is sad. And, please, continue. Could you please, share with us your favorite recipe about how to get a nice tart on your head? Oh, yes. It starts with a decision, and then you climb on a chair, and you're standing on a chair, and then you make a recipe, and then you get the tart on your head, and then you take your mouth, and then you take an onion, and then you make it, and then you make a green flame, and then with that green flame, well then that's it, really. Well, that's great. We'll put all that in the show notes. Thank you very much for this scintillating recipe with our guest. Tart on the... Oh, thank you. You may go now. Okay. Well, that was scintillating. Our next guest will be somebody from the Druid land. Welcome, Dr. Disney. For our listeners at home, the Druid has brought their reporter onion mask friend. Hello. We will add all this information in the show notes. Please welcome the Druid friend. Welcome, Druid, and welcome, Onion. For our listeners at home, the Druid has picked up the chair and is now playing with it, rearranging the feng shui on stage, no doubt, as the Druid is very spiritually inclined with their flower crown and such. And they are dancing, they are moving, and they are... Oh! Why, thank you for the onion. For our listeners at home, the tart chef is gonna hang out on stage, and... Okay, here we go. Well, just another day with the Pick 311 podcast. It appears our guest has, is capable of eating poison onions. It's quite a skill. I don't see what's so funny about that. Okay. Okay, that's not even, I didn't even say anything at that. Okay. So, and now, the Druid is now going to stab me with a giant fork. Seems a fitting end for being not the host of the podcast. I suppose the pig could continue without me. Another lap to sit upon, perhaps. For our listeners at home, have indeed been stabbed with a giant fork by the most spiritual person here, which seems a little against what I would expect, but perhaps there is some feng shui reason for me to be stabbed by a giant fork that would benefit the space and bring order to it. Oh, and now it appears that two sprites are fighting over a giant butter knife. I see, and they are pulling it as if to summon a giant crab arm to pull them into a crab hole. There's a lot happening here. Yes, certainly. I see. The pig has corrected me. Indeed, this was symbolism of the recent violence in the Under, of people stabbing each other with butter knives and slamming masks on. Okay. Well, it's a little difficult to speak on the podcast when you have a mask shoved in your face. And now it appears that I'm going to be shot by a synthesizer, because that is exactly what you use a synthesizer for, to shoot people. And now they're fighting over the synthesizer. Well, it looks like this place is completely ruined and screwed, so I don't know what's going to happen, but it was nice to have a podcast here, as long as it lasted. Thank you. Okay, well, at least there are onions to eat. For our listeners at home, we will put artist renderings of all these, of all this insanity happening, for you to enjoy at home as well. Okay. If you please do not feed the pig tiny onions while doing the podcast. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, for our listeners at home, we're surrounded by our guests. I think this is the prank portion of the show. One is assaulting me with a saltine. I understand that joke. Salted, like a saltine. Very funny. And cheese. And cheese, certainly. And there's a fireworks being shot. The chair is gigantic. And that's just and now it appears okay. Now there's a giant the white station wagon belonging to okay, the members of the name on the registry, and now the car is upside down, and the keys are in it. If anyone is listening, your lights are on. Thank you. And now, for listeners at home, the tart chef is on the table, and you're on a chair. And, oh, okay, the chair has become gigantic again, and it is above us. As okay, I'm buried underneath the chair. And now it is back. And now it's. Well, this has been absolutely wonderful. I really. Well, I don't really. Oh, okay. Here's that the set for "Don't Push the Button" has appeared, and now it's a. Okay. Okay, a giant shark tank has appeared. We will. Okay, and now everyone is pushing the button because why would you name a game with "Don't Push the Button"? That is pretty much asking them to push the button. Your audience is chiming in again and feeling playfully, almost maniacally about and they're in the cage. Okay. Well, we will continue the show from here. If we could, please, clear the stage a little bit, that would be possible. Great. Our next guest is, someone with a fried egg on it. Let's welcome them to the show. Okay, great. That's you. You're the next guest. The pig has a question for you, and I'll interpret it in a language that is mutually understandable. Is there any hope? Well, that's optimistic. Okay. Well, thank you to our guest with the egg on their head very much for their optimistic viewpoint that perhaps there is a future for the under after all. Oh, yes, you have something else? Oh, it appears our tart chef is back. Tart chef? Oh, and I really don't know who you are though. You are the onion mask with the hat on its head. Terrific. And yes, oh, you're plugging your comedy act. Yes. Any upcoming dates? Upcoming dates? Yes. Oh, that's a very funny bit for our listeners at home. It appears that one eats an onion and the other one does a Okay, now they're just tag teaming against me. Okay. How's it going up there in the cage? Terrific. Oh no, please, not again. No. Look out. Oh. Okay. Should I continue the podcast or is this okay? Sure. Okay. For our listeners at home, it appears that they're gently tapping the button, which is not considered pushing. Okay, and now farts. Okay. I think I should probably just go. It appears things are very much off the rails content now? Is it okay? Our next guest on the Pick 311 podcast is a chevron mask with hope. Please find a chair wherever you can. Chevron mask, tell us how it was in the beginning when you first came to this place. You snap your fingers, you were made from mud. And then you got these gold bands. And then you got this mask, you take the mask, and you put it on, and then you're in a desert, and there's a bar, and you open up the bar door, and there's the MC is there, and the dumpster you stay. In the dumpster. And then the MC leads you through the thing. I see. Right. And then you're in an elevator, and then they're talking to Weil on the phone. And then you're picking up these bottles, and you look through the bottles. Oh, but first there's doors. You open up these doors. But then is that another version of you, or is that someone else, or is that you? It's many versions of you. I see. And then so it just repeats. And then you end up finally making your way to this place. And then, oh, there's a theater. And you turn a crank. And then it goes... And then the MC speaks. And then it's in an elevator. I see. Oh. Well, that's very magical. It's a very magical thing that happens. Well, I'm very glad that you were able to take us through this journey. Do you think there's any hope? So what will it take for people to get along? I see. In the end, it's true that effectively the players will run this place, and there'll be no more use for anyone beyond them. And silence is golden, so it's better that nobody speaks. Well, on that happy note, I think this has been a terrific Pick 311. Okay. This doesn't even make sense. There's no state audience anywhere. Remain calm, I'll be right back. Okay, sure, why not? Okay. Well, you're right. I shall remain calm. I'm going on vacation. And in the end, this was probably the most lively podcast I think we've ever had. So I'd like to thank all of our guests. Last but not least, we have Tempest Boot on Head. Tempest Boot on Head. What is the meaning of everything? It's holding hands with everyone and being together. Look, the druid is trying to hold your hand, and everybody's trying to hold him. Let us bring everybody on stage then. All of our guests on stage. All of our guests will come on stage, and we shall all hold hands. The one with the boots is the wisest one, so let us all hold hands to finish off this Pick 311 podcast. Well, this has been a very special Pick 311 podcast. Indeed, as the pig foresaw, unity did bring everyone together, and we are all in here together. Thank you all for listening and being guests on the Pick 311 podcast. Okay. Alright, terrific. Oh, that's terrific. Oh, and now, yes. Oh, the pig will sign their new book. Hold hold on. If anybody wants a signature, go ahead and find copies of the new book for the pig. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Pig 311. Pig 311. Here you go. And another one. Pig 311. We've got copies of the book. There you go. Great. Did everybody get a book? Wonderful. Great. And we have extra copies if you want them as stocking stuffers for your various holidays. They make a great gift. Terrific. Well, I think that's great. And the car, somebody can strike the car perhaps. Right? Okay. Well, thank you very much. And let's see, we have our suitcases. Great. So Pig 311, you're going to meet while on the beach?
Great.
Oh, yes. You're going to celebrate the New Year's first. Well, how about I go to the beach and I'll meet you there?
Great.
That sounds terrific. Well, thank you all for listening to the Pig 311 podcast. And for being guests. That was a very nice moment at the end. Alright. Well, so long everybody.